Hey everybody, welcome back to another Facebook Live here at the Florida Keys History and Discovery Center. Today we are going to be looking back again at our main exhibit, our Florida Reef exhibit, and we're going to be looking at our new inhabitants that we added about a month and a half ago, our lane snapper and our plainhead filefish. We're going to be doing a feeding like we normally do here today, but I'm going to be sharing a few facts about these guys, and we can look at their progress and how much they've grown in the time since we've had them. So I'm going to go ahead and climb up the ladder as usual, and we're going to go ahead and feed these guys. So you can tell they're all ready to be fed. They know the routine. And we are just dumping their food in there for them. So if you didn't know, that is a mixture of krill and mysis shrimp. But like I said, I'm mainly going to talk about our new inhabitants that we have in there today. So they have been in our exhibit for about a month and a half, and they are our plainhead filefish and our lane snapper. So our lane snapper, we have 8 of them in here. And you can see them, they've got these sort of red orangish stripes on them. They're very common out here in the South Florida waters. Fishermen will catch them quite often, but they are not to be confused with some of the other snapper species that we have down here, mainly the mutton snapper and the mangrove snapper. The lane snapper is its own species. So these guys can reach a maximum size of about 24 inches. But the ones we have here, they should get up to about 6 inches. That's about their average size out there in the wild. They are a schooling fish, so that is one of the main reasons we added them into our exhibit, because we wanted to have a little bit of diversity, and a nice schooling species is something that can add a little of diversity to the tank and something new. But then our other species that we have in here is this funny looking guy here. This is a plainhead filefish. So we have 3 of them in here. And they're very cryptic looking. You can see they've got that sort of tan, brownish, splotchy pattern on them. And this is to help them blend in with their surroundings. So they are not the most agile fish. They can reach a max size of about 11 inches, but almost similar to the lane the lane snapper, they're going to reach a max size in here of about 6.7 inches. Something interesting about our plainhead filefish is you can actually determine their age by looking at their bone on their anterior dorsal fin. So if you were to take a cross section of that, and you would basically count the rings almost like you would in determining the age of a tree. So it's kind of a little bizarre fact about them. But these guys, they have a average lifespan of about 3 years. Now you wouldn't think, looking at them, that people would eat them, but they were originally, they would be caught as bycatch until people started eating them and they started fishing for them on their own. And I don't know about you, but it doesn't exactly look like a tasty fish to me. But the lane snapper, on the other hand, I know people will eat those. Snapper is a very tasty fish that people eat when they go out and order seafood. But unfortunately, these 8 lane snapper here won't be making it to your table anytime soon.
Blake, how many snappers did you add to the exhibit?
So we added 8 lane snapper to the exhibit, and then we added 3 of the plainhead filefish. So we pretty much doubled the amount of fish that we had in our tank. Now, we don't need to worry about it getting overcrowded in here. We made sure that they all have adequate room to swim around, and everybody is getting along nicely. Whenever we add new inhabitants to the tank, we make sure that the species will get along well together, and you can tell that everybody's getting along. Nobody's beating each other up. They're all great tank mates. And I'm sure you guys noticed, but we didn't feed Larry our lobster today. Larry got fed yesterday, and he will get fed tomorrow. So today's one of his fasting days, and that's normal for him.
Ellen said they're social distancing.
They're social distancing, yes. Yes, they got word that they need to be social distancing. So maybe after lockdown and quarantine is over, the lane snapper will go back to schooling.
Have you seen them school in the tank yet?
So the question was whether I've seen them school in the tank yet, and it was kind of interesting. So when we add them to the tank, we want to add them all together. So we added all 8 of them together, and they kind of tucked themselves over in a corner, and they were schooling all with each other in the corner. Now the reason they school out in the wild is because strength in numbers. You can kind of ward off predators when you've got 50 of your friends right next to you. But I feel that they're not schooling in the tank because they don't have any predators. They don't feel unsafe in here. So they have the freedom to swim around by themselves and not have to worry about anybody coming after them. So I think that's most likely the reason why we don't see them schooling as much. You'll see them swimming around in pairs or groups every now and then, but they're not tightly packed like you would see them out in the wild.
Blake, Ellen would like to know, has there been any babies born in our tank?
Okay, so a question we had was whether we've had any babies born in our tanks, or any of our tanks. While it's possible that some eggs could be laid in our tank, it would be highly unlikely that any of those eggs would develop into fry or juveniles, just because of the fact whenever legs are laid, it's usually quick to become fish food, which is kind of sad, but that's just how it is out in the wild. Now, if I had the facilities to, if we had eggs that were laid and I wanted to, we could remove them and try and raise those eggs, but we just don't have those facilities here at the Florida Keys History and Discovery Center. Now up at our main campus, Mote's main campus up in Sarasota, they do that quite frequently with a lot of other species that they raise there, mainly the seahorses. So they'll actually raise the seahorse eggs, and you'll get little baby seahorses. Another species is the neon goby. Now, some of you might recognize that. We have the neon goby over in our Gorgonian exhibit here. And all of those neon gobies were actually bred up at Mote's main facility up in Sarasota. So, unfortunately, yeah, we just don't have the facilities here that any of our eggs would make it, and we'd get little baby fish.
So Ellen has a follow-up question because you mentioned seahorses. She'd like to know if we can get seahorses.
The question was whether we would be able to get seahorses here. Unfortunately, I don't think we have the aquarium necessary to take care of seahorses. Now, seahorses are very difficult to take care of. They have to be fed about 3 times a day because they don't have stomachs. So they are very poor at digesting their food. They have quick metabolisms. They usually only eat live foods. So having the facilities to grow these live foods specifically for the seahorses, that's almost a full-time job in itself. Alrighty, well, I think that wraps it up for today. I hope everybody enjoyed seeing our new tank inhabitants. They are doing swimmingly. Everybody is growing wonderfully. We're very happy about that. So be sure to tune in next month, same time, same place, here at the Florida Keys History and Discovery Center. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.